Superman and Lois Season 4, Episode 3 brings a series of unexpected and major plot twists to the DC show, alongside continuing several thoroughly engaging plot lines. The first two episodes of Superman and Lois Season 4 pulled no punches by killing off Superman at the start of the show's final chapter. As such, it would have been easy for the episode following up this part of the story to be comparatively less interesting, if only because it needed to focus less on its own story and more on setting up what the rest of the season looked like. However, Superman and Lois Season 4, Episode 3 manages to balance this early setting the stage with some colossal twists of its own, with at least one of these being up there with Superman's death in terms of its implications for the rest of the story. With only 7 episodes left before the end of the live-action Superman show, Episode 3 makes it clear the last leg of the series is only going to continue amping up and only going to continue showcasing the talents of the Superman and Lois Season 4 cast, creating a true sense of excitement for what's to come. With the loss of Superman being felt by the Department of Defense, the group looked to replace this void in Episode 3. Ultimately, the DoD asked Steel and Starlight, perhaps better known by their civilian identities of John Henry Irons and Natalie Irons, to take Superman's place. Though the father and daughter Dew had been looking to move to Metropolis, they agreed to this deal, aware of how much losing Superman is sure to have affected the department and the world. This suggests the two heroes will continue to be a part of the show up until its finale, though it also puts them even more in the firing line when it comes to being targeted by Lex Luthor and thus Doomsday, since they'd have otherwise been moving to Metropolis and out of the fray somewhat more. In the final leg of Superman and Lois' several-year-long journey, Jonathan Kent finally finds himself equipped with his own set of Kryptonian superpowers. After having a profound emotional breakdown while coming to terms with the seeming loss of his father, Jonathan discovers the stress has kickstarted his superpowered abilities using X-ray vision, discovering his super-healing ability, and, of course, being able to fly. Given so many episodes passed without Jonathan having even a trace of powers, and the Superman and Lois Season 2 storyline that saw Jonathan taking X-Kryptonite to replicate some aspects of having powers appearing to cement that he would never properly get them, this reveal is one of the bigger twists in the entire show. It's also one that in some ways comes at a perfect time, since Lex Luthor only knows that Jordan has superpowers at this time. However, it's a revelation that has its complications as well. Jonathan's ability to learn how to control his powers seemingly rapidly appears to leave Jordan with complicated feelings given his own longer training, and General Lane's attempts to immediately recruit his other grandson only double this. Combine this with the fact that Jonathan isn't necessarily sure about the parameters of his powers quite yet, and this reveal is likely to cause some trouble, as much as it is a thoroughly exciting development. In Superman and Lois' 2-episode-long Season 4 premiere, Lex Luthor breaks out a brutal scheme against the Kent family, tricking Jordan into his lair, crushing his father's heart in front of him, and then phoning Lois Lane to have her decide which of her children she chooses to save. While Luthor lets Jordan go free, it's revealed she actually picked Jonathan. After Lex tells Jordan this, he confronts his mother and the decision she made, a choice she justifies by saying that Jordan's powers meant he had an inherently better chance of defending himself. Unfortunately, the timing of this means the conversation comes after Jonathan's powers have been unveiled, and after Jordan begins to grow jealous of how quickly Jonathan has taken to his powers, meaning he's even more upset by this reveal. While the Superman and Lois Season 4, Episode 3 ending may well mean this is now water under the bridge, it's interesting to note given Lex's aim is to get back at Lois, and turning Jordan fully against her may end up being the way he chooses to do so. General Lane's Superman and Lois Season 4 survival proves short-lived after narrowly escaping death in Episode 1 and 2, as Lois Lane's father dies in the final season's 3rd episode. Lex Luthor manages to force a phone call conversation with General Lane by recruiting a DoD soldier known as Jones to do his bidding via threatening Jones' family. Lex uses this call to threaten the general into revealing the whereabouts of Luthor's daughter, who he knows has been in contact with her. Luthor then threatens to send Doomsday over to attack the DoD building, but Lane refuses to reveal Elizabeth's location and grapples for the phone being held by Jones, who then shoots General Lane in the side and flees. Doomsday arrives not long after and wins a fight against Steel and Starlight before the general calmly walks up to the monster and tells Luthor again over the phone that he won't give in to his demands, leading Doomsday to break his neck and kill off another member of the Kent family. It doesn't seem General Lane's death was in vain, as shortly before he is killed by Doomsday, he injects himself with a serum made from Superman's blood in order to try and make his heart a viable match for Clark Kent's own, meaning the replacement can potentially be used to bring him back from the dead. Starlight and Steel reveal that General Lane had been looking for a donor heart to attempt this approach with, but after realizing the gunshot itself could be fatal, and that Lex would try and kill others if he didn't get Lane after their call, He decided his heart could work instead. In a devastating recording General Lane made for LOIS, the character explains the specifics of his plan and explains his intention is to keep protecting his daughter in a way, since, if the process works, his heart will still protect LOIS, albeit now in the body of Superman. While the General's body is shown in Kryptonian technology alongside Superman's as the process to implant his human heart into the Kryptonian hero begins, it's worth noting that the hologram of Clark's mother says she isn't sure that the process will work and states it will take some time if it does. As such, it's not clear if the Man of Steel will be back anytime soon or even if the plan will prove successful. However, given the noble sacrifice of such a key figure in Superman and Lois makes this approach possible, it would make sense if this is what ends up bringing Clark back from the dead, especially since it has parallels with the comic story, wherein Clark's own father is involved in Superman's revival. Whatever the future holds, the story told in Superman and Lois Season 4, Episode 3, ensures future episodes have some fascinating questions to follow up on.